Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Da Mafia Live. I come to you live from a hotel room in Nashville, Tennessee. That is correct. If you were watching the AFC's roundtable last night, you might have noticed that I just completely left out of nowhere. Well, I lost power. Surprisingly enough, was not hurricane related. Some guy was driving and apparently hit some generator, and it completely destroyed my entire block beforehand. So that was annoying. And then I had a flight this morning at about 5 a.m. So I went to sleep. I'm sorry if you missed me over at the AFC's roundtable. However, I had to come on and I had to talk to my people, man. What is going on? Shout out Mafia for Life. Shout out Buffalo Snowy. Shout out Glenn. Shout out John. We have Khalil Shakir in the chat saying, Dan, you're really the most dedicated YouTuber ever, bro. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Listen, regardless if I'm in a hotel room in Nashville, Tennessee, regardless if I'm in a hotel room in New York City tomorrow evening, you're going to see me, baby. You are going to see me, all right? I have to talk to my people. So do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, all right? And turn on them bell notifications. That is damn right. We are so close to 30,000 subscribers, folks. I really think that we can make it there in about 3 or 4 weeks. So if you have not, out of 104 of you watching me right now, I guarantee you at least 30 of you are not subscribed. So make that happen. You were not in the roundtable, did not notice. Oh, Glenn, come on, man. You missed me. You missed me, Glenn. You missed my fire hot takes, bro. Don't even pretend like you didn't. But folks, listen, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to a couple of our proud sponsors today. Number one, obviously, is Picasso's Pizza, folks. Listen, Buffalo Pizza, 4 great locations in Western New York, and they are delivering nationwide. That is right, delivering pizza to your front doorstep. So say, for example, you're from Buffalo and you miss a taste of home, then I highly recommend you go over to Picasso's Pizza. Link is in bio, and make an online order and use code PARADE. That is all capital letters, folks. PARADE for 20% off of your order. And then I also want to shout out a couple of other things. As you guys know, I have no idea. Oh my God, who's calling me right now? It's the front desk. I have no idea. Listen, you know what? They must be watching the stream. Not necessarily sure. But one thing I can say, guys, is that next up, I have this signed Keon Coleman full-size helmet. That is correct. And I'm giving it away to one of you. Yo, listen, front desk, I don't want to talk to you, bro. I am giving away this full-size Keon Coleman signed football helmet that I am so excited to give to you guys. I really, really am. Now, in order for you guys to enter this competition, what you have to do is that you need to go to my X account at Real Dan Mitchell, full-size replica Keon Coleman helmet. To enter, must follow me on X, link, like, and repost this pinned tweet, be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and sign up for a free pristine auction account. Link is in my description as of right now, folks. All right, listen, I'm going to be announcing the winner during my live game reaction to the Seattle Seahawks game, which is going to be taking place here in just a couple of weeks. So if you have not joined the contest, certainly go on ahead and do that. And this is obviously brought to you by Pristine Auction. This is the #1 online auction house for all signed sports memorabilia. Even Miami Dolphins fans that are currently in here as well. They have a bunch of really cool things that I think you guys will certainly enjoy. Well, I think it would help if I actually spelled Dolphins correctly. Anyway, a bunch of stuff. They have stuff for all over right now. And if you sign up for a free account, if you're trying to get up in this giveaway, then you just use my code DMITCH10 for $10 off of your first winning bid. Say that you're not patient enough to wait for this potential giveaway. Like I said, if you guys are interested in potentially winning this full sized replica helmet signed by Keon Coleman get in on the action. I cannot wait to announce the winner here in just a couple of weeks. But guys, man, we have a damn game ahead of us. We have the Buffalo Bills and we have the New York Jets. Monday Night Football. And your boy's obviously on the way there. I'm excited to be there for the AFC's Roundtable event with myself, TD, Richie, Colby. And it's going to be a blast, man. Listen, an open bar tailgate, what could possibly go wrong? A live show before the game. But I feel like everything that has been on our mind as of late is if Sean McDermott, if that asshole somehow gets outcoached by an interim head coach and a brand new offensive play caller, I'm going to absolutely crash out. And I feel like the vast majority of you guys will crash out as well, right? Because there's so many things that are centralized around this Jets organization. They are essentially a very toxic environment right now. They are completely in shambles. And I've talked to a couple of people where they're just like, oh, Dan, what if this team has an extra boost of motivation playing under a new head coach? What if Bobby Babich and this Buffalo Bills defense is going to have some difficulty adjusting to a brand new offensive play calling system? I would be lying to you if I wasn't concerned, at least in the slightest. It is either going to go very well or it is either going to go very bad. There is no in between. All right. This Jets team is either going to beat the shit out of the Buffalo Bills or the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the shit out of the New York Jets. This is not going to be a close game which way or the other. But one thing I can say, Sean McDermott has no excuse. You cannot get outcoached by an interim head coach and a brand new offensive coordinator. You just can't. You absolutely cannot. Walk out of MetLife right now, 4-2, and make this happen. That's really all I have to say. Shout out to my boy Richie Fresh in the chat already. Dan, my boy, I'm glad you're safe. Lowski was low key. He was low key. Listen, man. And so you saw your boy Dan Mitchell and TD were not in the building last night, so we saved the energy for next time that he sees us next Wednesday. Yeah, man, most definitely. Like I said last night, so while my area didn't get a lot of the hurricane, we still ended up losing power because some asshole just decided to drive drunk into a generator and my entire block lost power for a little bit. And obviously I ended up having a flight early this morning, bumfuck early, dude. I'm ready to take a nap once the stream is over with. I'm not going to lie to you. And so I have Picasso's for the first time ever last week. It is amazing. Shout out to Picasso's Pizza, proud sponsor of the Dan Mitchell channel. We have DD in the chat saying, what's up, Dan? What's up, my boy? How is life? He just called the front desk phone, bro. I know. That's what I'm saying. Han QT is coming in saying, do we need a registration code to sign up? Hen QT. No, sir. As long as you just end up using that link in my description to sign up for your account, it should be tracked. So just go on ahead and just sign up for that free account. It's totally free. But say, for example, down the road that you get an email of some really cool signed memorabilia from some of your favorite players, feel free, of course, to send over a bid. Cody, if McDermott loses, we lose McDermott. Leave him in fucking Jersey. Leave dude in Jersey if we lose to a team that is being coached by an interim head coach and a brand new offensive coordinator. I honestly don't see him surviving if that would be the case. We have Deb in the chat. Bills need to win or McDermott needs to go. That seems to be the general consensus around Bills Mafia right now. I'm not sure if the ownership will actually have the balls to do it, but here we are. If we win this game, we win the division. Let's go. Anthony Smith. The Bills need to win and McDermott needs to go. So he's saying that he needs to leave regardless. Dan is in Nashville. Watch out, Garth Brooks is in trouble. Listen, man, let me tell you what, my EP, my album's coming out, baby. Why do you think I'm here right now? I'm about to hit the studio here in a little bit. And so I got a country album coming out, folks. You just wait. You just wait. We have Michael Lewis rolling in. This game on Monday night is giving me bad vibes. Michael Lewis, I'm not going to lie to you. It's giving me bad vibes as well. I really don't like that this team now has an opportunity of rallying behind a brand new head coach. But then at the exact same time, I don't know why I'm so scared of it, because statistically, this is not a winning formula, like for a brand new interim head coach. Typically, they go 16-31. And I saw somebody in the chat earlier talk about James Cook. And I put out a video the other day where he was listed as limited with a toe injury, right? We saw him on the bike yesterday. And if y'all ended up seeing like James Cook or whatever, like he screwed up his toe. So he likely has turf toe. And according to some of our medical experts on X, Thigh Doc specifically, is not banged up, Bills, because he has me blocked for some reason. He believes that it is week 1 or 1 to 3 weeks that he could potentially be out. Even if Dude Man is out there and playing, I highly, highly doubt that we're going to be seeing a lot of production from James Cook. We're going to have to turn to Ty Johnson. We're going to have to turn to Ray Davis, whoever is that running game at the end of the day. So I'm not particularly thrilled with this matchup on any facet. All right, listen, how we win this game for the Buffalo Bills is going to be solely determinative on how this defense performs, right? Last week, we saw Rodgers cough up the ball 3 times. Highly doubt he's going to do it again. I know he's old, is what it is, but I think that was largely an anomaly. What this Bills team needs to do, oh man, is quite literally just go on ahead and make sure that we can do whatever we can to stop Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, because I don't want a repeat of the Baltimore Ravens game. I sincerely do not. We have Tyler H. Should Bean start calling every team and inquire about every cheap receiver and their interest in trading that specific receiver at that cost? I saw something pretty interesting because so we noticed that Brandon Bean is always, quote unquote, making a call on a specific receiver, right? Like he did it last year. So with D-Hop. And so he ended up doing it with like a lot of big name wide receivers. I feel like anytime that there's a big name that is up for trade or in free agency, he's always, quote unquote, making a call, right? And I saw something on Eric Wood's podcast where he had some former Jets player on, and he's under the impression that so the only reason the Bills are in this conversation for Adams is exclusively to sweeten the pot and make sure that the New York Jets overspend. I like that theory because it makes sense, especially with how cheap he is, right? I could see Brandon Bean exclusively being a part of these conversations with Las Vegas just so that he can make sure that this New York Jets team ends up coughing up like a first rounder, right? I could see him calling Las Vegas just to make the New York Jets sweat and them overspend on a wide receiver number 1, where their quarterback is likely only going to be playing for 1 or 2 more years max. I'm still under the impression that Aaron Rodgers is going to retire after this year. I would be shocked if he stayed. But that's kind of where we're at right now. We have John Marlowe coming in. Bills need sacks and turnovers all game. I mean, listen, bro, it's got to be a defensive masterpiece. I like that Bobby Babich is going up against a brand new play caller for the Buffalo Bills, right? And I mean, granted, is that an advantage? Maybe I would have preferred Nathaniel Hackett to be out there calling some of those plays, but you know that they're going to have – so their offense is going to look a little different. Like, let's try and remember what the first game with Joe Brady was like when he took over as offensive coordinator. We lost to the Eagles that game, but I mean, our offense looked a hell of a lot better. So that's just kind of where we're at. We have No Bones About It is saying no better cure for struggling Jets run game than the Bills defense. We've been a sieve for running backs. Absolutely. We have Shakir in the chat. That hotel security is about to escort you out like you're Robert Saleh. I guess so, man. Holy hell. What the hell is going on with this hotel security, baby? Jets will overpay and then fire Douglas after this season. King Lowski. Oh, now you got power. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, King Lowski. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee right now, man. And so your boy had an early flight this morning, and some drunk asshole hit a generator down the road for me and took the power out last night. I wanted to be there. Trust me, I wanted to be there. But you know what I'm saying is what it is. I'm glad you're here. McDermott isn't going anywhere. People can be so ungrateful. We went 17 years of no playoffs. Now we make them every year. Yes, I agree. His late game management can be bad, but he keeps us winning yearly. We have mischief. So listen, man, I totally understand that. And I'm very thankful for, I'd say, the success that he has brought to the table so far. But I think it wasn't Jim Brown. It was like one head coach that you typically end up bringing up that was known as a franchise saver, but didn't always end up getting over the hill. My biggest issue, Mischief, is that statistically proven, right? A head coach and a quarterback have never won a Super Bowl after being together longer than 5 years. So if a head coach and a quarterback tandem have not won the Super Bowl within the first 5 years of their tandem, of their relationship, statistically, it has never happened. So, and the late game management, I wouldn't necessarily brush that under the rug, right? Because one time it's a mistake, 2 times it's like, okay, dude, like better not do it again. But I feel like we can think of so many different coaching gaffes, coaching decisions that has cost the Buffalo Bills from winning some games, right? I mean, obviously with 13 seconds, this last one against the Houston Texans, maybe 12 men on the field. I feel like it's cause for concern for sure. It's certainly cause for concern. But I mean, have no fear, because I genuinely don't believe it. Does not matter what I think. It does not matter what fans think, whether or not that they want Sean McDermott to be gone. I don't see the Pagulas doing it. I don't see our ownership doing it, especially with how like terrible luck they have with Sabres head coaches. I think that they understand that they have found a diamond in the rough as far as at least being competitive. So I think Sean McDermott's leash is a hell of a lot longer from the ownership's perspective. Me personally, I would be fine. Like, I wouldn't want to get rid of him like in the middle of the season, right? But I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. You're gonna get your ass whooped on Monday, Dan Mitchell. Oh man, King Lowski. I hope not. I hope not. Xblo V is saying, "What's good, Dan? I don't like how the Jets just fired their coach. I feel like they're gonna come in very hungry on Monday." Yeah, I mean, Xblo, listen, man, I have that same worry, but it's weird because why do I have that worry, right? Because an interim head coach on their first game has gone 16-31 historically. So data is certainly not on their side, but I'll tell you what, I certainly would be lying if I was not nervous about that. Are you 14? Make your bed. If you don't want to do it, get a wife. You come do it. You come make my bed, bro. Nah, son. I'm in a hotel, dog. I'm paying for room service. Get out of here. So sick of that, though. Driving up the price, great. But how's that been working out for us Bills so far? Other GMs have to know he does that right. Absolutely. What's Diggs saying now? I don't know. I mean, apparently Diggs is gay and he's drugging people now. Allegedly. Allegedly, all right? I mean, I'm not going to speak on that much more. But so with Mischief's grateful take is the reason we won't win it. Most of us recognize that he did for us, but we're done for now at the end of the day. Who told you that last year? You did, Glenn. You told me that, and it's been haunting me ever since. So that stat where a head coach and a QB have been together for longer than 5 years, they have never won a Super Bowl. So I'm not particularly sure how I really like that right now. This defense is also held together with duct tape. I think Sean won't get over the hump, but Bills fans need to see the real issue is Bean and his drafting. I'll tell you what, Donald. I think he's hit on a lot of draft picks, right? But I mean, more particularly in the later rounds, right? Like right now where it stands, you have Christian Benford, who was drafted in the 5th or the 6th, and he's currently like the 4th ranked corner in the NFL. So according to PFF. You have Taron Johnson, who was drafted in the 3rd or the 4th. You have Matt Milano, who was drafted in the 4th or the 5th. I feel like he does a really good job at stringing together and getting the most out of some of these later drafted players. First and second round talent is an entire different conversation, though. Like, he's really good at finding the diamonds in the rough and he's really good at developing and making some of these later round picks play well above what their draft grades were. But I totally get that. We have Matthew C. I do agree that McDermott has caused issues late game. Brady has 2 bad games offensively all game long and 2 games in a row. So I don't know. Matthew C., let me tell you something, my friend. And so I'm going to put my feet up right now because I'm in a damn hotel and I'm going to relax. Dude! Yo, man, listen, I need to go on ahead and invest in a new computer chair like this one because this is just absolutely living it. So, great take. You say, I do agree that McDermott has caused some issues late game, but Brady, yes. I will tell you what. Joe Brady does not escape blame. In all reality, he has come out with lackluster game plans for the past couple of weeks. But the one issue is, and I feel like an asshole because I was in denial like for months, where I said, listen, we just don't have like receivers that can create consistent separation outside of Khalil Shakir, right? And once Shakir ended up going down, and I will tell you that Shakir ended up going down right during the second quarter of the Baltimore Ravens game. I don't care that he was taped up, and I don't care that he was back out on the game or back out there. He was not the same player. It's tough, dude. Like, if these receivers aren't getting open, it's not necessarily a game plan issue. It's just a personnel issue. You know what I'm saying? And like, I've seen a couple of people have also like started blaming this offensive line, which I think is kind of asinine, to be completely honest with you, because how long do you want your offensive line to block for your quarterback? Like, what's a reasonable amount of time? Like, literally, like, what's a reasonable amount of time for you to expect from your offensive line to be able to block, right? I'd say 2.8, 3 seconds. 2.8 to 3 seconds is a reasonable amount of time. I would say that if you have an offensive line that is blocking longer than 3 seconds, like that is a historically good offensive line. Historic. A good offensive line is blocking for about 2.7 and maybe 2.8 without consistent pressure. Last week, this offensive line's grades were completely through the roof. It was the receivers that just weren't able to create separation with Shakir being out. So, kind of where we're at. Richie Fresh, Mischief's grateful take is the reason we won't win it. We already ended up getting that. Look at that. Shout out to everybody in the chat so far. 271 of you in here already, guys. 130 of you on YouTube. 141 of you on X. Guys, do me a favor. Smash that like button so we can get up to 200 like buttons. I think we can do that. And if you haven't already, out of all of the 267 in total of you watching me right now, I guarantee you, my friends, that at least 60 of you are not subscribed to the channel. Simply go on ahead and just hit that subscribe button on YouTube and turn on bell notifications so you never miss an episode. Because as you know, I try to go live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST. Tomorrow, I will be on a plane during that time, but I'll give you some sort of surprise stream or something along those lines so we can make that happen. Mojo, he was talking about Stephon Diggs banging a pregnant lady. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Set main. Dan, and can I just take a moment and say I respect your hustle. Keep grinding. Set main. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Listen, bro, like we have seen quite a few milestones. Like I am so close to 100,000 followers on TikTok. I'm close to 100,000 on Instagram, and I'm close to 30,000 on YouTube. Look at that, baby. And you know what? I would be nowhere without my loving audience. All right. And I genuinely hope that I entertain you, whether or not that entertainment is you just hating me, loving me, or maybe you're just here for some news. Maybe you're just here for some laughs, some gaffes, some memes. I don't know, but I'm glad that I'm able to entertain you. All right. Be a distraction from your everyday, if that makes sense. Yes, 16-31, but most of those teams had long losing streaks until they changed their coaches. I know Colts changed the coach and he won the first game and then lost 7 in a row. Jeff Saturday. Yes, we do. Yes, we do remember Jeff Saturday over at the Indianapolis Colts. And then I want to say that Antonio Pierce from the Raiders won his first game when he was the interim coach after John Gruden sort of, I want to say he got exposed for something. I don't even remember. Let's see what's up. Dan, you saw the clip I sent yesterday. So was it played on the AFC's roundtable? If it was, I have not had a chance, but I will definitely check it out, bro. What do we got? Jets won't admit it, but Rodgers is the real issue. City Burt is coming in, man. He's throwing out some accusations. Diggs equals little Diddy the Diggler. He's the Diggler. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. So we got TikTok banned out here. Talava, oh no, in India. Damn, bro. That's tough, man. They said the reason J17 wanted Diggs gone was because Diggs was trying it to get in his cheeks. I mean, maybe. We don't even know. All right. Like, dude was like, bro, I want the ball. But in reality, he was saying, dude, I want your balls. Maybe that's truly what he was saying during those situations. I don't even know. Flick Shorts is saying, yes, Colby played it. It was on Richie's. Check it. Let me see. You sent me a DM.
Blitz. They check out of a blitz. They'll disguise. Brian Flores is a master. Zero pressures. But if there's anybody in the league that can handle the blitz, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Good God. Chill on that, bro.
They're going to call a timeout, right? Nope, ball snap. It's a handoff to Braylon Allen, and he gets stuffed. What are we doing?
Oh,
what the fuck? Kick the field goal. Why are you not kicking a field goal there? The run blocking has been trash, and we just run it up the gut 2 straight times.
Come on, Richie. It's all right. Poor Richie, dude. Poor Richie. You know what, dude? Normally I pity my friend. But this week, no. In fact, I'm going to be sitting right next to Richie. During the game on Monday evening. So I really hope that I'm the one with a massive smile on my face and we see a Richie absolute crash out right next to us. That would be hysterical. Damon's coming in. They're loving it. And Josh hasn't been much better, to be fair. I mean, yeah, man, most definitely he hasn't. So within the past 2 weeks has not been playing like right with the level that we expect for him to play. I honestly think it still has a lot to do with his broken hand and maybe he's just limiting himself. But yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with you. He's not playing right to the level of where he needs to. I forgot trading for Adams. I think we should try and get Crosby. What's your thoughts on that, Dad? Oh, my God, dude. Max Crosby would be sick, but I think we might have one of the cheapest GMs like in NFL history. So I'm not sure if that would even be on the table. Dan, the 5-year QB coach stat is garbage. Most QB coach combos don't last more than 5 years if they don't have success. I can't think of a coach QB combo lasted more than 5 that didn't win a chip. Interesting. So we need to stop playing scared on defense. We have the lowest blitz percentage in the whole league. And are we getting a live game reaction? So with Grayson, you are not getting a live game reaction because I'm going to be at the game. But I will tell you what, I have an absolute beautiful production planned. Myself, Richie, and TD have a beautiful production plan for the AFC's Roundtable channel. It's going to look like you're watching like Fox Sports 1 or like ESPN or like NFL Network, like beautiful graphics. It's going to look like you're watching television. Like we have invested a lot in this production and it's going to be live. I want to say at 3 p.m. EST on Monday. So I really hope that you guys are able to join in or at least be able to catch the recap. But yeah, most definitely. We're not going to be able to do that because I will be inside of MetLife watching the game myself. So that will not be the case. Are we getting a live game reaction? We are not. Richie's Jets incognito. I feel like week 5 wasn't really his fault. Richie Fresh. We need Cocky Dan back for Monday Night Football. Tarps off. Yo, Richie, listen. I promise you Cocky Dan's going to be back, all right? But I just need to see an ass whooping. I need to see an ass whooping, and then I promise you my villain era is not done. My villain era is not done. But you know what? I've been beaten into submission for the past couple of weeks. And listen. I picked the Texans to win prior to that game. I didn't like the matchup. I really didn't. However, I am picking the Bills this week. I do have the Bills winning this game. But I want to see an absolute beatdown. Like, I want to see this team make a statement and say, you know what? These past 2 weeks were a fluke. That's what I want to see. For the past 4 years, guys, I think that memories don't do us any justice. But we have lost back-to-back games in 4 years straight. We have lost back-to-back games 4 years straight. So is history repeating itself? Is Sean McDermott repeating itself at the end of the day? But all right, man, let me see what else we got here. We have, let's go to lists, and let's see what's going on with the Buffalo Bills, baby. Let's see what's going on with the Buffalo Bills real fast. All right, 10 years of Pagula ownership. We need a damn Super Bowl, Pagulas, but I appreciate you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And so we miss Kim. So hopefully she's okay. Let me see. Let's go. What else do we got? Come on, man. And so the Bills will play the Jets with New York enduring a coaching change in offensive play callers, and multiple injuries to its 40-year-old quarterback. The Bills can't lose. We can't lose. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. 3 notable offensive players were added to the Bills' unofficial injury report on Wednesday, while the defense appears to be getting healthier. So the defense is solid, but now it's the offense that has switched over a couple things. Allen has never lost 3 games in a row. Kevin, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about, man. Listen, I need to invest in one of these hotel chairs, man. In fact, you know what? I feel like this chair is coming with me. Yeah, I'm going to check this into my bag. Man, oh my God, I love this chair. I really, really do. But yeah, no. He's never lost 3 games in a row. I like this matchup a little bit better. Kevin, so I know that we weren't able to connect last week. But did you have the Bills beating the Texans last week? And what is your prediction for this week? I think that's a good question. So got to be first. Absolutely. If Cook can't go, give us Ray Davis. Hypothetically, if the Bills do lose, how hot is the seat for Sean McDermott? So are we talking about a fan-made hot seat or an ownership hot seat? Fan-made, red hot, okay? But ownership, lukewarm. I did, but I didn't have them beating the Ravens. Got it. We have Kevin. We have Kevin in the chat, man. He's doing his thing. I have 24-16 Bills over the Jets. Damn, Kev. So, Kev, you available right now? Is you available? Here, guys. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so y'all don't come in here. Hey, we're going to have Kevin come in for a second. It's my boy Kevin. He's going to talk us into this right now because obviously I'm a little nervous. Hold up. All right, bro. It's in the chat. Damn. All right. He's coming in. Listen, man, I got to talk to the guy. And so I got to talk to my guy real fast and see his thoughts about this because obviously I don't know. I'm battered right now. Fucking A, dude. Let's see. Get Dan's cockiness back now. All right, listen, man. Listen, sometimes I just need a hype man. And so if I have a hype man, things change. It's just how it is. Even though Josh Allen should be out, Bills 34-13, let's be real. Bills are going to get back to business. I love that Explo V. I love it, guys. Guys, listen, 286 of you in here right now. 121 of you on YouTube, 165 of you on X. Do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and just get ready for a ride. I'm live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST, Monday through Friday. So do me a favor, man. Come on, join the family, all right? Join the family. We have a lot of Buffalo Bills football we got to talk this week. As many of you know, I'm currently in Nashville, Tennessee in a hotel room. I'm going to go get some hot chicken here in a little bit. Just go hang out. Just live my life. And then tomorrow I'll be on the way to New York City And I'm going to go take over New York City real quick, and then I'll see you on Monday night against the New York Jets. That's where we're at, baby. That's where we're at right now. We have Greg. With that concussion, he definitely got a concussion. I mean, listen, you know what? And so at the end of the day, I thought that it was fishy as hell, but he got cleared. So at the end of the day, he's playing, right? Is what it is. Is what it is. What up, dude?
What's going on? How are we today?
How's life?
Oh, just another day. It's nice in Western New York right now, so I can't really complain. Yeah, it's been nice.
Really? What is it?
It's got to be upper mid 60s right now.
Oh, damn. It's like a heat wave up there about this time.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice right now where I'm at. So it's, the nights are getting cold though. You're getting nights in the 40s.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's fall. It's spooky season.
Yeah.
All the pumpkin spice lattes are out.
Wow. You're a pumpkin spice latte guy.
Oh, I'm not. My wife is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying they're out in general. And then.
Are you a black coffee guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me too. It's black only. Yeah. It's black only over here, baby. That's what we're talking about. Yep. But Kev, listen, man, I don't know why. So you said in the chat that you think the Bills are going to win this game. So is anything worry you about this maybe newfound motivation that now that Ulbrich is taking over, that maybe we might run into issues because now we really are walking in there completely blind, even from an offensive play calling situation, since they just made that? Or what's your take on it?
So I did some research into the coaching bump just in general, and teams that are really, really, really bad get a little bump. Teams that are, and here's the thing that most people don't forget. On a coaching change, you're getting an extra week of rest. It's always done on a bye week, or at least a long week, on a Thursday when your team has multiple days rest. So you have the little rest bump already, and then you're talking about teams that are 3-10, 3-11, and then maybe go out and win a game against a bad team. But the boost is marginal. And the percentage points are what is it? Since last teams went 0-2 after firing their coach last year, 0-3, excuse me, but then went 16-23 overall since 2022 or 2020 or 2000, the year 2000. They're 16-23. So the bump doesn't exist, especially doesn't exist in the middle tier. The Jets are who they are. They have a hurt quarterback, a changed play caller who also isn't good in general. There's not much that scares me. The defense is going to be the same defense they would have faced week 1, week 8. Week 12 with whether it's Saleh or, it doesn't really matter. I'm not overly, they've seen this Jets defense many times. They have some injuries there. They're missing their slot corner and Michael Carter II. I don't know where Mosley's been. I don't know how hurt he actually is, but he's been missing games. So ultimately, I think the Bills will have an answer to if they continue to run this pressure man that we've seen them have to face in back-to-back weeks. The Bills will be more prepared for and not think they have to go deep to Mac Hollins, even though a good play call. I mean, it's what you're supposed to do in the deep third.
And so he had his man beat.
Man-to-man, one-on-one, deep third, open. You throw that ball. We would yell at Josh for not throwing the ball. Why didn't we throw it to Mac Hollins deep in the deep third? Why would we keep chucking it down to Cook for 4 yards? I guarantee you the narrative would have changed had they gone a different direction. But the method is they just needed to win that game. They should have beat the Texans. The Ravens game going in on Sunday night, they needed to win. The Ravens couldn't drop that far back behind the Steelers. There was a lot that wasn't great about their DVOA and their metrics. But when it comes to their Jets, their offense stinks. Their offensive line stinks. They can't run the ball. We talk about it all the time on SmackDown. I'm just not overly worried about the coaching bump. We do have struggles in New York. You should see Allen's numbers after back-to-back, the games you were talking about in back-to-back losses. His numbers are ridiculous after at back-to-back losses. I just don't think they put themselves in a position, at least this week, to be now number 2 in the division and really in a fight the rest of the way. Whereas the opposite is they win 2 games up with the tiebreaker on both their 2 foes. And they're in a really good position.
And so then the Titans, and then the Seahawks, and then the Colts.
Seahawks look terrible. They've gone downhill after their big start. Dan, if someone would have said 5-2, 6-2 as a contract, the Bills would have started the season with 4 hard road games, Miami, New York, 2 divisional games, plus Baltimore and Houston, and I'm giving you a contract to say 5-2 or 6-2. I'm not going to believe that most fans wouldn't have signed that contract.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, honestly, man, I'm not worried about their offense. especially even on the perimeter. Like I trust Benford and Rasul Douglas against their guys on the perimeter. Maybe some concerns. And I mean, I know that the run game hasn't been ideal. And maybe like that Derrick Henry performance was just an anomaly. But I'm thankful that we have Bernard coming back. And then I think Taron Johnson is trending to be able to play.
Yeah, he's playing.
But my thing was that like we saw like an uncharacteristic Josh Allen. And I know that it absolutely sucked that Shakir was out. Right? Like him being out, like one of our guys that creates the most consistent separation, but a 9 for 30 performance, is making me feel, I suppose, a tad anxious because I think this Jets defense had their hiccups at the beginning of the season, but I'd probably pick this Jets defense over this Houston Texans defense as well. So do you think that this was just an anomaly from Josh by itself? Was it that our like receivers weren't creating consistent separation? Like what the hell was wrong with him? Like last week?
Look at the Texans game film. It's definitely a culmination of effects of a couple of things. So you have the receivers, especially at certain stretches, maybe not the stretches we're thinking, they just weren't getting open. Josh Allen had a lot of time to throw. He had over 3 seconds to throw. Like I've seen some blaming on the offensive line, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't their fault. Don't forget, they're bringing an extra pressure package, and they're playing one-on-one in man coverage. That's why Matt Collins is wide open on that play. It's the right read by Josh. You just had to need a ball. You know what? I'm going to make a controversial statement. Gabe Davis catches that ball. I know it hurts. It hurts to see.
Don't tell me that.
It hurts to say. But Gabe Davis that's what he was on the roster to do. Whether you like Gabe or you hated Gabe, that's the play he was on the roster for. That's the play he beat the Steelers with when they went and blew him out, and Gabe Davis had a huge day. That's the same play that they love to run. They're running with Hollins right now, and it's a big loss. I think the Bills are seriously active in the trade market. I do not believe that they're checking in. I do firmly believe that they're active, trying to make it work with their salary cap situation based on the receiver. So that I truly believe, from what I know and from who I've spoken with in the Raiders organization, mixed with some Browns talk that I've had.
Really?
I firmly believe the Bills are right there if they can figure out the salary cap. And if they don't figure it out, it'll be they were just checking in. It's not. Yeah. It's more than that. The Bills are officially a finalist.
So they're really in the market.
They're really in the market. For sure.
Now, who's realistic for you as well, right? Like, I mean, I've seen the whole like Adams situation, and the more he's on the roster, it's about like $1 million shaved off of his overall salary. This Raiders team is clearly just trying to start from the ground up next year. So I'm sure they'd be willing to go on ahead and eat a lot of that, I'd say, remaining contract in exchange for some draft capital. But like, I mean, I've heard some other interesting names like sort of shoot around that I think would be good fits. Like, I love that. So with the Johnson out of Carolina. So with the Deontay Johnson, I think that would be a very interesting fit. Who do you think is like super realistic and potentially of coming over here?
If you're looking, like, there's a couple of names you can look through that I don't know if they're available, but they could be realistic in terms of if they ever became available or their salary cap numbers. But Deontay Johnson's one of them. You mentioned him. He's a guy I've done some work into. He's only going to be owed about $3 or $4 million. It's not going to be hard for the Bills to fit him under the cap. Carolina has if he was healthy, I'd hate to say it, but somebody like Adam Thielen was a guy that I had marked, and he's played really well. He's just hurt at the moment, but Carolina would have a couple that you could call about, no doubt about it. Jacksonville has Christian Kirk, a guy that has been mentioned that Josh Allen loves his style of play, wanted to sign him in free agency. The Bills didn't have the money then. But I'm looking at Jacksonville. Our old buddy Gabe Davis is there. Will they give up on him this early? I don't know. But the Bills
send Gabe back over to Buffalo.
I do know the Bills were very interested in keeping him. They just weren't paying him $13 million. The problem is Gabe Davis at $3 million is different than Gabe Davis at $13.5 million. So there's just a couple of names between Jacksonville to look for. You got to look through teams that you think could make the deal. Obviously, the Raiders, one that we've already mentioned. Adams' contract. I tweeted out yesterday a bunch of players. You're going to have to move players to get Adams. Like, you're going to have to move somebody, whether you have a high value on them or not. You're going to have to save every $2 million you can, Dan.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up that tweet because now I'm interested to see who you'd want to move on from.
You're going to have to move somebody. Like, that's for sure. Like,
and so who would be interesting, though? Let me see.
If you pull the list up, there you go.
It's right here? Okay. Not okay. Yes, I did see this. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at a lot of these things. Number one, I'm not sure if Elam would have any value instead of any team. I mean, not unless like they like send him over to like some team that runs like more man. So defense, maybe they could find a diamond in the rough there. I'd be fine with MVS being gone, and I would be fine with Knox being gone, especially since like he has been virtually a no-show so this entire year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there would be some teams that still would like to get a hold, especially like a guy like Antonio Pierce could like to get a hold of Kaiir Elam. He's not going to fetch the value of a second-round pick or anything, but what he could do is shave a little bit of the asset cost off, and he's going to save you $2 million this year and $2.5 million next year. So the Bills will take that on top of they want to get something. They would want to get something back from him higher than a 6th-round pick, or they'll just keep him. So you would have to assume that he would come at a cost of like, maybe they'd be willing to take Kaiir Elam in a 3rd-round pick, and it does help them out a little bit. But the Bills right now, with Taron Johnson coming back, they have Ingram ahead of him. They have maybe even Lewis Seen on their practice squad ahead of playing time for Kaiir Elam right now. They definitely have Cam Lewis ahead of him. At some point, like he's had multiple DB coaches. The Bills have swapped out a DB coach. The rumor has been it was because of Kaiir to go away from Butler to Adai. If multiple coaches, it's not just McDermott doesn't like Kaiir. If multiple coaches now have gotten an eyes on Kaiir and he's still struggling. The problem is, Dan, he's struggling in man coverage. That's what the issue is. The Bills thought that
was supposed to be his bread and butter.
He's actually recognized zone a little bit better than I thought. It hasn't been an issue. But when situations where they're going to man or they're going to different packages, that's not to cover 2 high shell. They think he's struggling, and they think when he gets beat, he grabs. And he has not changed that mentality since he's been on the roster. If they felt like he was getting better at that, you can't put a dime backer that you think struggling in man, because there's a lot of situations to where you might call man coverage, even if it's not in an extremely high clip. So multiple coaches have gotten their eyes on Kaiir Elam. I couldn't tell you, like, if an injury came, I'm not even 100% sure he's in the lineup either if a boundary corner injury comes. So maybe he is. It's just multiple eyes have been on him. He can't play inside at all. So Cam Lewis has had his struggles. The problem is he's not playing inside corner. So it wouldn't matter if Cam Lewis is good or bad. Lewis Seen's there as well, that they're coaching up, and then they have Ingram who can play everything. I think Jamarcus Ingram starts outside boundary corner if one of those 2 starters gets hurt. So ultimately, I don't know what you're doing with Kaiir anyways. If he has any value left and can save you some draft choice capital, I think you have to include him in a trade. I think he might be the only one that a team will be like, all right. I could see him coming in with a change of scenery. And we'd be interested in that. But the Bills have to pick somebody, like, especially if it's a guy like Adams. If it's a lower end receiver, that's fine. But if it's a guy like Adams, they're going to have to include one of those names on the list.
Now, how in are the Bills on Adams, you would think? Or so do you think? Because, like, honestly, like, so it feels like a pipe dream to me. And so it feels like a pipe dream to me that, like, with Bean would, like, want to, like, move on. Because, like, so they're saying that he's going to cost a second. And I guess why it's taking so long is just because nobody has offered.
No one's paying that with the money. No one's paying that with the money. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If they eat the money, they'll get that. If they're not going to eat the money, they're not getting that. So that's the standoff between, it doesn't matter if it's Bills or not. That's the standoff with all the teams in this race, is even the Jets probably. And they're the only ones that really have some of the money, depending on which team we're talking about. The Ravens don't, but they've been said to be out. No one's paying a 2 and taking that contract. It's not happening. So they're going to have to pick what thing they want. The next time Al Davis buys out a contract will be his first. So there's definitely some situations, and that's where the names come up of like, all right, then we're going to have to trade back assets. Bills do not have any names they can restructure right now. All of their base salaries are pretty low. No one has over a $2.8 million base salary on the Buffalo Bills. So there's no names to restructure there. So they're going to have to make it work in terms of, we got to trade a player. You're going to also have to eat some. I think if they ate some money, Dan, I would tell you right now, it's very realistic.
Really?
If they're not going to eat any money, I think the Bills are still checking in to see like what they will do. Because I don't think they're worried about the compensation back. That's not a hang up. The hang up would be, dude, we want to trade with you. We're the best team out of the list remaining of where he'll play. Like, does he want to go to a coaching that just got fired? Maybe he trusts Aaron Rodgers. Does he want to go to a hurt quarterback in Carr? Is he going to go to a team that doesn't like to throw the ball in the Steelers? Like, at some point, Like they can't even get Pickens the ball. So at some point, maybe he would prefer to go to the best team on the list with the best quarterback on the list rather than just because he knows Rodgers. I really think it's a Jets-Bills thing, and I don't know what state the Jets are in at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Saints are out of the equation right now.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, especially since now they'll have so the rookie starting more than likely. Yep. So for the Saints over there. And then, I mean, as far as the Steelers, I feel like that they are also in every single conversation. But, like, I mean, how much say does Adams truly have in this conversation at this point? Like, not a lot, right? I mean, I suppose he could pull a Hassan Reddick if he wanted to. He's like, oh, yeah, I mean, you can trade me.
Not a lot on the Raider side at all. You're right. But a lot when it comes to the new team because of the Hassan Reddick and other situations where other teams are like, dude, if he doesn't want to play here, I'm not trading for him. So, so he doesn't have any say in theory. But we're seeing these players have more and more say, which is good because then you're looking at only teams that, he may want on top of the compensation goes down, not up. So ultimately, if he's like, I'm only going to play for the Jets or the Bills, it lowers the return for, and think about it in Adams' case. He wants to go where he wants to go. Also, why would he want his new team, who may or may not keep him long the end of his career, to spend more assets? He wouldn't. He wouldn't. It doesn't behoove him to have the Jets or Bills or whoever pay more money for that player. It never benefits you.
And so especially in a time too, where like how long Rodgers truly has left in this league. So is he wanting to get traded over to the Jets? And half of the reason, like, I mean, watching that Netflix wide receiver show, it seems like his biggest issue was just playing with quarterbacks that are consistently serving up hospital balls. And like ambulance balls like right toward his way. So he's probably just like, dude, like I can go play with Rodgers for a year, but if dude decides to retire next year, like I'm right back in the drawing board. He might as well retire at that point. And I honestly think that he still wants to play football. He's still playing at a high level. It's just you can't see it because of the carousel that he's had over at Las Vegas since they shipped off from Carr. I mean, maybe this Monday night matchup is determined on who he ends up on. Right?
If the Bills especially win more than even if the Jets win, if the Bills especially win, I don't know what the Jets are like. Here's the difference. Everyone's like, he could go to a surprise Titans like D-Hop did. D-Hop was looking for money. He was looking for his next fit. Adams has been paid a lot of money and may get paid more based on this contract restructure. So this isn't a money situation this time around. And he's probably based on what the next team's going to do. He's going to be able to probably be a free agent to go get more money in the offseason and go anywhere else he wants. So it's luckily for the Bills, this one isn't like D-Hop. This one isn't about the money. Or even OBJ kind of was on that tour. This one's about his fit for him. I just don't think the fit is anywhere other than with his buddy Aaron Rodgers. Carr's hurt and they are going to tank, potentially with, we'll see what Spencer Rattler can do.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like the Bills, Steelers already have a running quarterback. Like at some point it's Bills Jets. And by all accounts, I would probably still call the Jets the favorites unless they bow out of it. Like, and what way to get them to bow out of it is new coach, new owner, or no new coach, maybe new GM. To not do it this year. Maybe they go and get him next year if Aaron Rodgers stays in the league. That's possible. But will it be done right now? If Jets lose, I don't know. So.
See, the more and more that I think about it too, like now that Saleh just got completely fired out of nowhere. And like, I mean, I'm not sure if you predicted that. I thought that they would have waited at least until the offseason or at least until
I thought he would get fired, but I thought he would get fired once they dropped out. So
yeah, exactly. Like now or like once they were at least like mathematically eliminated.
Yeah. Maybe week 13.
Say that I'm putting myself in Joe Douglas's shoes. I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, okay, obviously Woody Johnson has had it up to here with this team. And I'm looking at so many young stars on this Jets team that are still under rookie contracts, right? I'm looking at Sauce Gardner. I'm even looking at Quincy Williams. And so I'm looking at Garrett Wilson. I'm looking at Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, etc. A lot of guys that are going to be coming up for a massive contract down the road. And yes, they are in a good spot financially now. But if I'm Joe Douglas, I'm just like, do I really want to bring in Devontae Adams, where I have a quarterback that may play another year, maybe two, if I'm lucky. And then I need to be forced to walk away with one of the young studs that I drafted and completely screw this organization over for the foreseeable future. Because the Davante Adams move for the Jets is, you better win the Super Bowl. Like, you better win the damn,
especially eating that money for sure.
Yeah, like you better win the Super Bowl if you're getting Davante Adams, or otherwise, like, you're screwing your success in the future. It makes a lot more sense for the Buffalo Bills, because they're just like, yeah, like, we ate that Diggs contract. Next year, if we decide to walk away from Von Miller, we'll be in a better situation. I feel like financially it makes more sense for the Buffalo Bills than it does for the New York Jets.
And secondly, putting on record that, like, when it comes to like this decision the Bills have to make, they did not decide to move on from Diggs in April. Like, that was not part of their plan. Like, I don't care what anyone says. He was locked up in a contract that the Bills thought they would get at least this year and maybe next year. He forced his way out. The Bills got the max compensation that they thought they could get, which is ironically a high second round pick. But unfortunately, Minnesota's 5-0.
I know. Bastards.
I don't know if they're going to keep that. I don't know. They always seem to do this underneath him. But I don't know if they're going to keep that up. I really do think they'll be more of a wild card team when it's all said and done.
Real? That's a hot take.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think Detroit's going to beat them out?
Dude, listen, man, I did a video on my predictions for the NFC North and stuff.
And I like Minnesota, but I really do think they're going to be a wild card team.
And so I had the Vikings finishing in last place, because I was just like, I mean, obviously this is a rebuild year. Sucks for JJ McCarthy being out. Not a lot of expectations for this squad, and I have just been getting eviscerated by Vikings.
Roasted.
Oh yeah, dude, we're 5-0. Look at us now. I'm like, dude, I'm happy for you, but
they played with the Jets to almost blew that. Like, I think their downfall is coming. Like, I think it's coming, but I like them. Like, I have no issues. I don't want it to come. I really like.
I love Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. I have a little dog in the fight, other than the Bills having the second round pick. And I'd like it to be in the 40s rather than, I thought it would be in the 30s. I'd like it to be in the 40s rather than the 60s. But the precedent's there. They did not want to make that move. They didn't. They had no interest in trading Diggs at that stage. Their offense was built around having probably Keon Coleman and Stephon Diggs, and then doing different things with Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. That was what they had in mind. They did not expect Mac Hollins to get 70% of the snaps to replace Stephon Diggs. He's a really good special teamer. He's a fill-in guy. He does do things well. Right now he's playing a receiver one. That's not going to work.
Yeah. No.
So the Bills did not expect to have that. It's the only thing when people are like, well, they just got rid of their receiver one. Why would they want to double the everyone eats mentality is funny. It's cool. It works sometimes. It's not what they were expecting to do.
No.
And they were expecting to have a clean swap receiver one. And I still believe that if the potential is there for them to add a receiver one, it's going to be no harm, no foul. The only thing they do need, because they ate all the cap for Diggs, they need somebody to eat all the cap so that it can be an even cap swap as well. That's what the Bills are needing right now. And if the Raiders decide to eat it, at least even as much as they can, the Bills are probably right there in this trade discussion. If they won't touch it at all, the Bills literally can't make the trade. So Bean can say whatever he wants, like, oh, we weren't that interested. But it's not. It's like they need to eat the money. Like, the Bills cannot do it without them eating some money and the Bills trading one of those players from my list, if not two.
And so I'm not sure about you, man, but like, I mean, I honestly think that this Raiders team had every intention of drafting Michael Penix this offseason. I really think that they did. But then obviously, like, so with Atlanta and just had that shot just heard around the world where they shocked everyone and took him. I just think that organization is in absolute shambles right now. And I don't see Antonio Pierce lasting, I'd say, more than a couple of weeks. If the Raiders drop 2 or 3 more games, I see them walking away from him and then just going completely to the drawing board. So I think that they will end up eating a lot of it, because why not?
I think that an organization would. I would think that most organizations, if not almost all of them, would. I'm not sure the Davis Trust or the Davis family has $15 or $14 million, whatever it will be by the time you trade him, 13 in liquid cash that you have to wire to the player. I don't know that they have that available, or if they can even want to access that out of their fund or their business operations. Yeah. So I'm not sure how that works. You would think they should, but I'm not sure if they're like, just like we all are as, workers, we're all paycheck to paycheck. They may be too. When it comes to their weekly expenses or their monthly budget, they may not have the ability to escalate $12 million up front. Just like if we were to go buy out our car or a house or whatever you want to make a comparable example.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure they can even do it. So the Bean might be getting like, let's think this through. Let's think of ways we can make this cap problem work, because we don't care about the money. We care about the cap. So the Raiders, if they're not willing to eat money, the Bills may have a plan for them to somehow out of his sleeve to eat cap space. And that's really hard to do in the NFL. It's not the NBA. Where you can't just be like, trade this guy, he makes a lot of money, here you go, it's off my books, it's guaranteed contract. It's not like that. Whatever you have already paid the player stays with you. So the Bills will have to get witty, but maybe they're having those discussions right now, and it's not over the compensation, it's over how do we make the cap side work if you don't have $14 million to give Adams up front.
No, I totally get it. Shifting over back to this game on Monday night, so I saw some tweet from Thigh Doc, and he is under the impression that James Cook may be out 1 to 3 weeks with a turf toe injury. What are your thoughts on that? And so do you think that's a real issue? Because I did watch
Thigh knows his stuff, but I like to battle him. He'll tell you that. He knows his stuff. He knows how to evaluate injuries. I try to push him a little bit. I think his time frames are a little aggressive, like in terms of like conservative. Truly inside the building, I think the team will say that he's more prepared than he is. Like at worst, I think it's a weak injury. Him being on the bike without any protective padding or cushioning or braces is a good sign. And the extra day rest, we'll see what it all amounts to, Dan. But I always push Thigh Doctor, and I'm like, you sure it's 1 to 3 weeks?
You sure it's 1 to 3?
I don't. I think it's going to be shorter. And sometimes he's right. A lot of the time, sometimes I can push him to be like, I think he's more available than that.
I think the question is like, will he be a go, and will he be like 100%? So
I think my prediction is he'll be a go. I don't think he'll be 100% now.
Okay.
That's my overall prediction is he'll be active on Monday night, just because I think he does enough that you can utilize him in certain things. And it's not going to behoove you too much to maybe use a different call up. I like Frank Gore Jr., but I think that ultimately Darrington Evans, like it would be Darrington Evans actually before Frank Gore Jr., unfortunately. So I think that if he gets to practice, he's going to be cleared. If not, you're going to see Darrington Evans come in and be activated on this roster this Monday. So I think they're going to do enough to at least give him some sub packages at the minimum. And they really like Ty Johnson. Like it's not Ray Davis anymore as the number 2. Like Ty Johnson has taken over the majority of snaps at this point. So I think he would be a plug and play fantasy player in this game.
No, it's definitely going to be a close.
But I'm going to push Thigh Doctor to answer your question. I don't know. I'm not feeling as good that it's that long, that it's 1 to 3 weeks. I'm feeling like I'm feeling like they're going to push him for this, and I'm thinking 0 to 1 week is my prediction. But we'll find out here tomorrow.
So 0 to 1 week, we will certainly see. I mean, I think that you and I are both in agreement that I'm not particularly nervous about this Bills defense versus the Jets offense. But what I am concerned about is this Jets defense going up against a team that obviously has our share of injuries. I know that we have a lot of players set to come back, but I'm not sure if they're both going to be at like 100%. So are there any matchups, or like if like you had a crystal ball and like you thought like what we should expect from Joe Brady, like how we're going to attack this team? What are you thinking? And how you think this is going to work out? What's the game plan for the Buffalo Bills on Monday night, Kev?
I think the game plan in this game is to get the ball out quicker. So Josh held at 3.12 seconds last week. He had open receivers. It's going to be I know the Jets are going to bait him into that honey hole like they always do. And you're going to have a guy underneath, you're going to have a guy up top, and you're going to have a receiver trying to fit within. Could be Keon Coleman in this game in between that honey hole. Josh Allen can make that throw, but sometimes he's been known to throw it to the safety, as we saw in week 1 last year in New York. So the counter to that is the Bills are going to say, let me take what we're given, and this Dawson Knox talk could be real. So I do think it's time to get behind their linebackers. They do have a good one. I don't know if Mosley's going to play or not, but ultimately it usually bodes well for the Bills offense with him off the field, and missing their slot corner too in Michael Carter. They're going to probably play Eccles in the slot. There's going to be some winnable matchups in the middle of the field for the Bills. And Josh has got to take him this time. He can't be like, let me show up Diggs. Let me tell you how, I can make that throw in the dome. Very awkward to see. It's rare. And beat him with his legs. Like, he's got to start using what makes Josh Allen as one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in NFL history. If he's tentative running the ball, that's why he's so good in man coverage, is because he can beat it with his legs. And then teams have to start considering that and pulling off man coverage to have a spy or whatever else they may have. If he's in true man-to-man, Dawson Knox needs to win routes. Dalton Kincaid has to start playing better. He has to start playing better. That catch on the sideline, I know we can try to convince ourselves it would have been a catch. He was bobbling it. Like, they're not going to overrule that. If it was called a catch, maybe it stays. He was bobbling it to the point where when he got to the ground, it moved. They're not. I don't believe that they were going to overturn a call to call that a catch. He's got to catch that cleanly. The throw was there. His feet were in. He's got to catch that cleanly without the bobble, because it did move as he was going to the ground. And by the time he had secured it, he never lost the ball. His feet were off the ground, or his feet weren't in bounds anymore. It's not a catch by definition of the stupid rule. It should be arguing that it should be a catch. It's not, though. By rule of the ball was moving. By the time he had full security of it, his feet were not down anymore. So that's why they have a literal guy that's really good at reviewing these instantly in the booth that they pay. He didn't think that would get overturned. I actually thought the James Cook one had a better chance to get overturned with his elbow inbounds late in the game, but he's got to play better, Dan. They got to play the middle of the field. That's the way to beat the Jets. Run the ball well. Ty Johnson, he has the physical ability and the speed to make them really think about this. Ty Johnson's not a bad matchup when it comes to playing the Jets. And if you look at their overall DVOA, there's definitely some places where you can beat this Jets defense. They struggled in the first 2 weeks. And if you look at the composition of their defense, Houston actually has a better defense, third-ranked DVOA. The Jets are 12th. And if you look at it, they're struggling against the run, 24th DVOA. The Bills can really make them. If they're going to play too high and they're going to try to take away Josh like they traditionally do, you got to dial up some Dalton Kincaid, you got to dial up some Dawson Knox, you got to dial up some man beaters, and you got to run the ball with Ty Johnson. You're muted, Dan.
My mic died. My bad.
You're good.
My mic died. And so I'm on the road. And so
you're playing a road game. You're playing a road game.
Yeah. I'm on the road game right now. But I feel like you and I have had this conversation a time or two. But I feel like he's been playing scared, and that's why we haven't seen that aggressive. He's gonna make plays with his legs because of that damn hand. And I'm kind of wondering if we're going to see that on Monday night, or if he's still going to be playing scared. I think that's going to be a massive X factor. So against this defense, if that's what they're thinking, that he's still going to be playing scared because of that glove. I haven't even watched any practice highlights. I'm not even sure if he's still wearing it right now.
Yes.
Okay. He is still wearing it.
He's got a broken left hand. We got to call what it is. It is a broken left hand.
Broken left hand. Yeah.
He has a broken top of it. You don't wear the Mickey Mouse Space Moon glove just for protective purposes. He's got a broken left hand. And if you don't think that affects anybody, you could have probably argued he could have sat out one of these games. But the difference with Josh with the broken hand and then Mitch Trubisky, you're we're taking Josh with the broken hand.
Yeah, we're taking Josh with the broken
So in theory, and then he played well after the broken hand. They won 2 straight. So they were probably no reason to sit him. But it's really affecting him. Teams are starting to figure out teams aren't running man coverage ever against Josh Allen with 2 straight hands. They're doing that because they know he's limited running the ball. And at the very least, even if he's not limited with his legs, he's not going to take hits. He's not going to make you look silly. He's not going to jump over you. He's not going to do the Josh Allen plays that make him Josh Allen. And that's really nice for a defense to know that, he may run the ball a little bit. He's not going to do those crazy plays. It does help you run more man coverage. So that's what we've seen. The Bills absolutely toasted it against Jacksonville. They'll get back to some of those concepts, some of those outside runs. The outside zone should really dominate man coverage. Yeah. So I think Ty Johnson's a really good fit to run some outside zone, some running back screens, some wheel routes, some things that really do toast man coverage. And then Khalil Shakir being back, Dan's a completely different ball game with being able to toast a backup nickel. Yeah.
I mean, so when should his hand be healed?
And so I thought it would be this week. This was the week I targeted from week 1 to now, kind of the bone of Taron Johnson. The difference is Taron Johnson doesn't have to take the ball in his hands every play. He doesn't ever really, he can limit his contact like Josh is doing. I would think 5 weeks should be the number, but it may be more like 6 to 8. I thought it would have been a little bit quicker, but it should definitely be very shortly. The Tennessee game, Seattle game, it should be soon. But
he's probably not feeling the same level of pain. Week 2 or week 3.
No, I don't. So I think even if he has to wear the goofy glove, I think at some point he can start to take more contact on it, I would assume, especially with the extra padding there.
Yeah.
So if the pain's not there, I would feel like they could, but I don't know how bad the break is. I don't know if it's minor or if it's major, but I was thinking 4 to 6 weeks, but it could be more like 6 to 8.
6 to 8, man. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, man. So right before we get on out of here, you mentioned 24 to 16. Is that what you're still riding?
Still feeling it. Yeah, rocking with it.
Okay. And so what about a hot take from the game, man?
One hot take from the game?
Yeah.
I think the Bills run the ball very well this game. That's my hottest take. Their DVOA, their metrics stopping the run are poor, 24th. That's kind of where I'm at. I think it's going to be we'll see what Ty Johnson's able to do if James Cook can't go, but I'm going with running the ball very well and Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid getting open in this game. I think they're going to play better offensively than people think. Maybe if the boost comes, it may be a little bit to the Jets offense. But I think that those are going to play better offensively than we're all going to go in thinking with this Jets D.
Yeah. And so I absolutely love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Dom Mafia Live. Kev, I appreciate you coming on in, showing a little bit of love. I will be live again tomorrow. I might be live a little later on this afternoon, but thank you so much. I will keep you guys updated of where I'll be in the city Monday night. Obviously, a lot of content coming from there, and we will see you tomorrow. Doses.